Understanding the universe as having a primary purpose of creation is foundational to the concept of divine thinking. You should know going in that this video may introduce a spiritual perspective that runs counter to what you've been taught and seems abstract at first. But if you go into it with an open mind and some patience, you might find some real joy within. Insight from on high. The concept of probability is irrelevant to the divine mind. It doesn't just speculate, but rather foresees and brings into being with certainty. It materializes both the good and the bad that we attribute to it. This realization is fundamental because it implies that, rather than labeling things as inherently good or bad, we should adopt a mindset similar to the divine. Instead, we need to think about the kinds of things we'd like to do. Whatever the divine is focused on is what persists in becoming real and expanding in our world. As an individual, unique expression of the infinite divine, you play a crucial role in this divine process. Labeling something as bad or negative causes your divine nature to attract more of the same. That's because God doesn't waste time daydreaming. Instead, God's mind is constantly at work, creating new things and learning from them. Therefore, the divine takes your dominant thoughts very literally, and you experience their fulfillment in your life. So what can you do to counteract this? If you want to simplify your thinking, just think of things in terms of good or bad. Avoid condemning the undesirable thing you're up against by not calling it bad or unwanted. Turn your thoughts toward describing and thinking about the ideal outcome. Doing so helps bring about the desired result by focusing one's mental energy on it. There's a great deal of nuance in the fundamental difference between divine and human thought. Most of the time, people's thoughts wander aimlessly, fixating on irrelevant concerns or worries. But your inner divinity takes these ideas at face value. If you dwell on one idea for too long, the divine takes that as a reflection of who you are and brings it into manifestation. When dealing with parental disputes, feelings of exploitation, or economic hardship, this can come as a complete and utter shock. The observation of these matters can reveal your underlying assumptions, so how you think about them is crucial. Infinitely past. I recommend that you train yourself to think in the same precise way that God does. Get rid of the limitations that time has placed on your life. As soon as a divine idea is conceived, it immediately begins to take form. Essentially, the issue boils down to accepting the possibility of happiness in the here and now. In this moment, there is nothing but now. Everything is happening right now. Your spirit is infinitely malleable and can inhabit any number of bodies at once. Your divine essence is eternal and transcends time, so only your human self is subject to the passage of time. In his talk, Neville Goddard introduced the idea of the fourth dimensional self, also known as the inner man. This facet of yourself is conceptual, so it can be present at any time and in any place. Dr. Joe Dispenza takes a scientific approach to this concept as well, arguing that in the quantum realm, all possible versions of yourself coexist. Time travel is possible because of the ability to change into more energy and less matter. Time's flow can alter for objects traveling close to the speed of light, as Albert Einstein once explained. That time has no bearing on your divinity, is what this shows in essence. Your divine self is eternal and everywhere at once, so it can know all of your lives. If you can let go of time, you can find happiness in the here and now. Everything you could ever want is already within you, in your divine self. By adopting these mental habits, you can increase your sense of happiness and make the two-dimensional, 3D, world conform to your wishes. The world around you changes to accommodate your wants and needs. Perspectives changing. Because of our propensity to think in ingrained patterns and to cling to our prior knowledge, human thought rarely changes. Humans can't change drastically because we're stuck in our ways of thinking, which are based on their past experiences. But if we change our frame of reference to that of our divine nature, the very concept of time evaporates, and all previous information becomes irrelevant. The divine is only concerned with the here and now. Remembering the past only serves to recreate it in the present. Recognizing the significance of emotion in our thinking also reveals a fundamental truth, that the act of imagining something with emotion is the same as making it real. Assuming that our divine self already possesses and experiences our desires on some plane of existence frees us from the confines of time. We can fully embrace this idea. We can make our dreams come true in the physical world by connecting with the energy of that alternate reality or self. The advice of Neville Goddard goes something like this: assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled and observe the route that your attention follows. The things we want are signs from the spiritual realm that we are worthy of them. Our own stubbornness, however, frequently stands in the way of these possibilities becoming realities for us. The experiences we attract in life are a direct result of the choices we make, and our divine self reacts to those decisions. Focusing on what you don't want and labeling it negatively only serves to strengthen its presence. Therefore, it is essential to develop a worldview similar to that of the divine, where one stops labeling events as good or bad, and instead focuses on what one truly wants to experience. The egocentric mind feeds off of difficulties, so it is easy to get sucked into the negative if you give it too much thought when contemplating the concept of good and bad. In contrast, the divine mind is a source of all manifestations. It is not bound by either time or space, but rather is always present. Your job is to focus your mind and use this energy to create the life you want. Spiritual attitude. The divine doesn't waste time thinking about what might happen or what the odds are. The current state of global anarchy is proof of this. If the divine truly viewed good and evil in the way that religions portray it, there would be no need for suffering. It would be a perfect world, a utopia. Human minds, by their very nature, are the source of chaos, suffering, and pain in the world, despite the fact that the divine has given us the authority of creation in our own lives. That's why it's important to adopt a spiritual outlook. Doing so will help you see things more plainly and make more sense of the concept that we ultimately become the sum total of our thoughts. By adopting a divine mindset, one can connect with the Source's unconditional love and light, thereby overcoming feelings of deficiency and experiencing an overwhelming sense of joy. Together, we can make the world a better place if we raise our awareness and let go of simplistic ideas. The failure to do so will ensure that more people suffer needlessly and remain oblivious to life's guiding principles. Conclusion. You can have unshakable confidence that everything is as it should be, even in the face of suffering, when you think like the divine and embrace your I Am presence. This is because nothing here exists outside of the mind of the all-encompassing divine. Nothing here can be said to be truly tangible. Finally, the idea of divine thinking provides a new lens through which to view the world. To shape our reality and bring our desires into being, we must bring our thoughts and emotions into harmony with the creative, all-encompassing energy of the divine. It implores us to forget the past and live in the now, the only place where anything is possible. As we become conscious co-creators of our reality in sync with the divine, we stand to gain insight, joy, and opportunity from this paradigm shift.